Hey, this is Dave from Unipro, and in this video, I'm going to show you the easiest way to close sales. And this is especially true if you run a business that has some sort of high ticket service, a course, some sort of coaching, some sort of program. And this isn't just going to be general sales principles. No, I'm going to show you front to back exactly what you need to do in order to close more online sales. You're going to see everything in action: opening up a sales call, asking the right selling questions, overcoming objections, and of course, getting payment on the sales call for your high ticket program, course, or some sort of service. And if you stick around to the end of the video, you're going to get an opportunity to download this entire sales script, the one that I've used to close all sorts of online deals ranging from $200 all the way up to $25,000. And you can take this script, make it your own, and start closing more sales immediately. So let's dive in. So you've got an online business and you're doing a good job of generating leads. Maybe you're creating content on multiple social media platforms. You're posting on a daily basis. Maybe you're even getting into conversations with leads. And maybe you're even getting some of those leads onto a sales call. But what's the best method of taking those leads and turning them into actual paying customers? You need to earn revenue. And I realize there's a ton of advice out there when it comes to selling online. But what you're about to get is a front to back system that shows you every step along the way that's going to allow you to take any lead online and move that lead towards making a high ticket purchase from you. And this training that you're about to get access to, this originally was a private training, and it's for anyone who's closing sales on a sales call. So you could be doing your sales calls on the phone, you could be doing it on Zoom. Maybe you have a sales team doing them for you. If your business relies on sales calls to make high ticket sales, this training and the sales script you're about to get is exactly what you need to increase your closing rate, to make more sales, and to sell at a higher price. And maybe you're thinking, well, Dave, I've already got a sales script, and that's great, but there's two unique advantages to the sales script that you're about to see. Number one, we work very closely with Facebook, and so we have an inside scoop on all the data when it comes to lead generation. What do leads want? What do leads need to see? What do they need to hear in order to warm them up to actually making a purchase? So we see the lead generation side, and we also work with hundreds of online business owners. And so we have a lot of data when it comes to what sort of offers are doing best, what sort of offers aren't selling well anymore, and how do we pair these two together so that the leads are getting what they want and so that you can sell the right online offers that are going to produce the most revenue for your business. And I personally tested the sales process, selling items priced as low as $200 all the way up to selling products and services online for $25,000. And this script just plain works. That's why I'm so excited to share it with you. And we're going to dive into the script in just a second. And as we do that, you're going to notice there are three specific things we keep coming back to. Three things that Facebook told us will improve your sales process, will help you close more and sell at higher prices. Those 3 points are: number one, Facebook told us be authentic. Number two, Facebook told us be brief. And Facebook told us be valuable. And Facebook has learned this from taking 20 years of data to see what's the most crucial ingredients required to take leads and turn them into paying customers. And those are the three: be authentic, be brief, and be valuable. And again, you're going to see how that plays out in just a second as you see Lucy, my wife, and I walk through this entire sales script as a role play. So we're going to go very in depth. This is a long training. I encourage you to take notes, to think about how you tweak this sales script for your specific business niche. And then if you have any questions about the specific steps, leave those in the comments below. I'm happy to jump in and help you out and answer any of those questions. And so without further ado, we're going to transition over into the sales script. Stick around. At the very end, you're going to get a link where you can download the entire sales script for yourself. Enjoy. All right, let's do this. This is the sales script for Facebook leads. Works with $200 offers up to $25,000 off offers. There are 20 steps. We're going to go through these as quickly as possible while giving you all the strategy you need. Step number one is to briefly build rapport. I'm going to tell you a mistake a lot of people make on sales calls. I used to be someone who made this mistake, and that's getting into all kinds of chit chat, small talk, on and on and on. What did Facebook tell us? Facebook told us from their data, you are going to make more sales when you are brief. Briefly build rapport. Notice it says make one personal connection based on your messenger conversation or a piece of content posted by the lead. So you can use their content on Facebook to make a connection. Be short and sweet. On each of these slides, for each of these steps, there's going to be an icon that looks like this. This is your goal for the step. And there's going to be an icon like this that might give you a little tip to be even more effective. Let's take a look at these two. The goal for this step is to make the lead feel comfortable and to gain trust. Here's a tip: use the lead's name 2 times in the first 2 minutes. Let's do our role play. So in this example, we're going to imagine that Lucy is a nutrition coach because she used to be a nutrition coach. And imagine that I'm a business coach who's offering services to help health coaches like Lucy build online businesses. So Lucy's a nutrition coach. She's building an online business. I'm potentially someone who could help her business grow faster. Let's go into the role play. Hey, Lucy, so good to see you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good, thanks.
I wanted to ask you really quickly, you know how we were chatting in Messenger and you mentioned that you were doing a webinar on Saturday. How'd the webinar end up going?
You know what? I wish there were a few more people there. The attendance was so-so, but I'm glad I actually did it.
Luce, I'm glad you got the webinar done. That's awesome. And role play. So that's it. That's the entire build rapport section. Notice how quick that is. Probably a minute. Notice what I did. I took a specific piece of information from Messenger conversation and I used that to build rapport. Also notice that I used Lucy's name, I believe twice, maybe even 3 times. You want to do the same thing. Let's move on to step number 2. After that rapport is built, here's the script I'm going to use. Well, Lucy, let's make sure this call is hugely valuable to you. So fill me in. What would you be looking to come away with from this call in order for it to feel like a big win for you? Now, I'm going to pause before Lucy actually answers. Notice the goal here. We want to reassure the lead that you're there to help. Remember, Facebook told us that we need to be all about delivering value to the customer. That's what this is about, focusing on the value that's going to be delivered. I'm going to give you a tip here. Use the word you as often as possible. People love hearing that things are about them. I want to show you how this is done. This script, it's very specific in the way that it's written. Let's make sure this call is hugely valuable to who? You. Fill me in. What would you be looking to come away with in order for it to be a big win for you? Already, Lucy is getting pounded with this message. She's the one that's getting value. Luce, let's do the role play here. Let me just go back here. What would you need to come away with in order for this to feel like a big win for you?
I'd love a strategy for getting leads more consistently.
Okay, so Lucy tells me she wants a strategy for more leads consistently. Let's move on to step number 3. And if you guys have any questions, just drop the question in. It would be really helpful if you said what step. So for step number 2, Dave and Lucy, what about this, this, and this? And then we can be sure to answer all your questions referencing the specific step. Let's take a look at step number 3. Step number 3 is to share your true intentions. Do you remember Facebook, from all their data, they told us your business is going to grow more quickly when you're very authentic. And there's all kinds of examples how Facebook is shutting down inauthenticity. And we looked at a couple examples already. Facebook wants you to be authentic. How can you do that? Take a look at this script. Okay, Lucy, got it. So you want to get more clients for your business and you want to do it more consistently. I get that. Well, there's a number of questions I have for you that'll help me better understand your exact situation. Then once I'm 100% clear on what it is that you need right now, I'll be able to help make a recommendation that'll help you get those clients more consistently. Whether that be us working together in some capacity, or at least I'll be able to point you in the right direction. Do you want to get started? Now, before Lucy answers, let's take a look. Our goal here is to make it clear that there could be an offer coming. You don't want to beat around the bush here. You don't, in this case, I don't want Lucy thinking this is just a nice conversation. I'm just here to help out of the goodness of my heart. While I do want to help her, I want her to understand there could be an offer. That's why I said it could be us working together, or it could be something else. Also notice, very, very important here, the tip is use their exact words as often as possible. When you download the script, you're going to have exactly the script here, and you're going to notice where you should be inserting specific things. So I said insert their big win, so Lucy's big win, twice. Did you notice during the role play twice, I said Lucy help getting clients consistently? Because that's the word she used. She didn't say getting tons of clients. She said consistent clients. And you're going to notice through the role play, I'm going to keep going back to that same word because it's what Lucy asked for. So Lucy, let's finish the role play here. So at least I'll be able to point you in the right direction. You want to get started?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what you're going to
get. It's brief. I like how quickly we're progressing, even though we're doing the role play. I feel like, yes, let's do it.
And this is what you're going to notice is when you're authentic like this, and when you're brief and when you're adding value, the prospect that you're speaking with, they're going to be excited. So when Lucy hears this and twice I say she's going to get exactly the thing she wants, she's chomping at the bit. She's saying, yeah, let's get into this. Let's move on to step number 4. Again, doing what Facebook told us to do is being authentically interested in. So Lucy, I know you want to get clients for your online business more consistently, but tell me more about that. What do you think you're missing right now? Now, before Lucy answers, let's take a look at the goal. The goal here is for me to talk as little as possible. Here's where Lucy becomes the star of the show. And I'm going to give you a little tip here. If your prospect keeps revealing valuable information, just keep asking questions. And we're going to talk about these follow-up questions in a second. When you do this section well, this is actually the longest section of the entire sales script. This should take, I'd say, at least 10 minutes. It could take up to 20 minutes, particularly if you're getting into selling much higher ticket items. Remember, we talked about if you're selling something that's $50,000 or $100,000, this section probably will take closer to 20 minutes for you. The lower ticket offer you have, you might be closer to 10 minutes. So, Lucy, what do you think's missing for you right now?
Oh, you know what? I've been doing online coaching for over a year now, and I've been creating a ton of content on Instagram and Facebook. I had a few good months, but then I don't know what happened. I've been doing the same thing, but it's just so unpredictable.
Mhm. Mhm. Now, at this point, Lucy told me a little bit of what she's struggling with, but I might want to know even more. So I might come back and say, well, how long has this been happening? You said your business started over a year ago. Have you noticed right from the get-go that it's been tough to get new clients?
hmm you know what? In some months it's okay to get clients, but it goes up and down. It depends on the month.
Okay, so you can see how I'm extracting more information from Lucy. I might ask, has anyone else noticed this too? What else has happened? This is a really important one. How are you feeling when this happened? And so I might go to Lucy and say, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about those months? Like you have a good month and the next month sort of, tanks a little bit. How do you feel? And I can pull out all this information again, making Lucy the star of the show. I'm trying to be as quiet as possible, just asking these follow-up questions. Now you're going to notice one of these questions is bolded here. And this is a question that must be asked unless the prospect or your lead volunteers it automatically on their own. So the question is, how have you tried to solve this already? So Lucy told me some things she's tried. She tried posting content on Instagram, tried posting content on Facebook, but I want to know more. So I might come back and say, okay, Lucy, I get it. You have some good months and some bad months. What have you tried to fix this?
hmm Well, I've tried running some Facebook ads, but I didn't know what I was doing, so I just felt absolutely stuck.
Mhm. I'm going to encourage everyone here because this section is going to last 10 to 20 minutes. Jot down notes because we're going to use everything that your lead is telling you. That's going to come back in just a second. And maybe you've got an amazing memory, but I highly recommend you take a couple notes about the different items that they mentioned that they're struggling with. That's step number 4 is to be interested. Just ask authentic questions. Let's go to step number 5. Step number 5 is to summarize what you heard. So you're going to summarize everything you just heard, including all of their struggles and everything they've done to try and fix the problem. Let's do the role play. So after I ask all those follow-up questions, I've got tons of information from Lucy. Here's what I might say. Okay, Lucy, I just want to make sure I heard this correctly. So it sounds like you started your online nutrition business about a year ago. And it sounds like you actually had some good months, but those good months weren't consistent. There are other months where it sounds like you barely sold anything at all. And it's not like you haven't been putting in work. You've been putting in lots of work creating all this content on Facebook. You told me you also
Mhm.
started using Instagram, trying to generate more leads and more sales, but it's just been so inconsistent, even to the point where you decided to invest some money into Facebook ads and thought that there might be some opportunity there. But you admitted that you don't really know too much about Facebook ads. And so that didn't work out the way that you were hoping. And now you're left just feeling stuck. Before
Mhm.
Lucy answers the question I'm about to ask, let's just take a look at the goal here. The goal is that your lead, your prospect, they must be able to articulate that they're struggling with something, and they must be able to articulate that they've tried to get a solution. That's what you want. You want a lead who's struggling, but they're also trying something. Then what I recommend is that you end this section with the question, did I understand you correctly? So after I just summarized everything, I would say, Luce, did I understand you correctly?
Yeah, yeah, you did. And as someone who's role playing right now, on the lead side, I can say that it feels so good to be heard.
Mhm.
That you summarize everything in my own words. I feel so great to be heard. In this day and age, sometimes it's hard for people to do active listening. So I feel really good right now. Like you get me.
And Luce, this is exactly what Facebook told us. Be authentic. Your leads are going to trust you more and they're going to be more likely to buy. That's why this script is built this way. I'm going to just pause here. So we're on step number 5. There's 20 steps. Like we said, this is going to be a long role play. If you're getting any value from this, can you just give this a heart, give it a like? And then again, if someone one person would benefit from getting access to the sales script, can you just tag them in the comments below? We want to get this into as many hands as possible. Let's go on to step number 6. Step number 6, this is key, and this is going to be a big change for many people who are already using sales scripts, is to ask the money question, and we're doing it early. Ask the money question, and we're doing it early. Here's the question that I'd ask Lucy. So at this point, I just summarized everything. She said, yes, Dave, you heard me correctly. Lucy's feeling loved. She's feeling like she's been listened to. She's feeling understood. Okay, Lucy, it sounds like you'd really like to get leads and new clients coming into your business very consistently. I get that. Can I just ask you why you haven't hired a coach to work with you yet? Many people who I speak with in your position, that's something that comes up. Now, notice what I'm doing here. Here's the goal. The goal is to draw out a price objection before I make an offer to actually help Lucy. I don't want to go through this sales call, pitch Lucy on my program, and then have her say, well, I actually don't have any money, or I'm not really interested in spending anything. I was just looking for free advice. You guys, you don't want that to have that happen to you either. We need to address price, money early in the conversation to see if it's even worthwhile continuing the conversation. So I want to draw out a price objection. If there's an objection, I'll show you how to handle it in just a second. So let's try this role play. So I said to Lucy, yeah, may I ask why you haven't hired a coach before?
Well, you know what? I've just invested so much money in Facebook ads. I just don't want to waste any more money.
Okay, and see what's happening here is this is very realistic. This is the type of thing you might hear. Warning signs are going off. Lucy says, I don't want to invest any more money. Now, the worst thing that I could do is just basically ignore what she said and plow through and go ahead and pitch her. She just told me she doesn't want to spend money. I need to listen, be authentically interested in what she had to say, and then address it. Here's how we're going to address this. 6B is we're going to be transparent. We're going to be authentic, speaking about money. Lucy, I understand. It sounds like now might not be the right time for you to invest in getting help, building up that consistency with clients in your business. I get that. There's a resource inside my free Facebook group that deals with getting leads and starting some conversations on Facebook. Do you want me just to send over that free resource over to you in Messenger? Now, this script is very specific here. You're going to notice something. Notice the word free, and I underline this twice. What we're doing is making it very clear that Lucy has a choice. She either can say, I'm willing to invest, even though I already invested in Facebook ads. I'm willing to invest, even though it's scary. I'm willing to invest, even though I don't have a lot of money. I'm willing to invest, even though my business isn't making a ton of money right now. She's either going to decide that, or she's going to say, nope, I just want something free. And so it's very important to emphasize this is free. Our goal is to prompt Lucy in this case to decide either she's going to invest in the solution or she's going to go back and engage in our Facebook group. Now, notice this trick, and this is why this Facebook compliance sales script, it works so well with Facebook leads. It's a win-win for me. Either she decides, yeah, Dave, I want to invest, or she decides, no, I want to go and engage more in your Facebook group, in which case she's going to be nurtured even more, and I know she's going to come back eventually. So both of these are a win-win. So Lucy, let's do the role play here. Want me just to send that free resource over to you in Messenger?
Well, no, I'm open to getting help. I'm just not looking for some free videos. There's so much info out there. I need someone to help me figure this out.
And everyone, if you're listening to this right now, everyone who's watching this, when you use this, that's the type of response you're going to get more often than not. Someone realizes there's a difference between getting help and getting free. And when they see that difference, it's very contrasted here. They're going to say, no, I don't want just more free. I want actual help. And now they've made a mental decision. It's time to invest. If this was helpful for addressing price objections early in your conversation, can you just type helpful in the comment section? Just let us know that this is going to help you overcome price objections as well. Mm-hmm. Luce, anything you want to add? Because we're about to move into the time question.
Yes, I just wanted to emphasize some of my feelings as the lead who's going through this. I just told you all of my problems, what I've been going through. So that journey of realizing my struggles and what I've actually tried, when we get to the point when you ask me, so you don't want any help, you just want some free resources, it makes me take a step back and realize, oh my gosh, that would be very silly of me to not realize that I need some help. 100%. So that journey really helped.
Love hearing that. Let's move on to step number 7, which is asking the time question. So anyone who's done any sales, you know that there's generally 3 objections that you can run into if not handled correctly. One is money. We just addressed it. Another is people will say, oh, it's not the right time. We're going to address that right now. And then the third one we're going to address in just a second. So here's the script. Okay, Lucy, that's awesome. It sounds like you are looking to invest to get some help right now. That's great. You got me curious though. Is there something about the time right now that has you feeling stuck here? I'm just wondering if there's anything else going on in your life that's kept you waiting until now to get some help. Notice what I'm doing here. The goal is to draw out a time objection. I'm giving Lucy an opportunity to say, yeah, my life's really busy, or this thing's going on, or now is not the right time. And if there is an objection, I'll show you how to handle that in just a second. Lucy, let's role play this. I'm just wondering if there's something about the timing right now that's kept you stuck here.
No, the timing is fine. Up until this point, I've just been trying to figure it all out. I thought things were going to work a lot faster than they have, and I don't want to waste any more time.
Okay, so that's perfect. That's the type of response that you'd be looking for. In this case, Lucy's saying, no, the timing is perfect, Dave. However, she might have come back and said, yeah, well, I've just been so busy. I'm working another job and it just kept me too busy. If that's the case, here's how to handle it. We're going to step 7B. Again, we want to be transparent about time. No problem, Lucy. Sounds like you got a lot going on right now, and focusing on getting clients coming consistently into your business, maybe that would just be tough. So here's an idea. Do you want to hop off this call right now? And I can check in with you in a few months down the road to see if that'd be a better time for us to chat about how you can get those clients coming consistently into your business. The goal here is to prompt Lucy to make a decision. We want her to decide either now is the right time, in which case we move forward, or her to say, no, now is not the right time, in which case we get off the call and I do exactly what I promised here. I follow up in a few months to see if then is the right time. Now, fortunately, in our role play right now, Lucy said now is exactly the right time. So I'm going to move on to the third objection handling step. And that's step number 8 is to ask, we call this the spouse question. It could be a spouse, it could be a business partner. If you don't do this now, when you get to pitching your offer, there's a high likelihood the lead's going to get uncomfortable with spending money. And so they're going to look for excuses. And one of the most common excuses is, I need to check with my husband, my wife, my business partner. We're going to overcome that right now so that you don't get objected once you've made your offer. Here's the script. Okay, Lucy, I got it. So it sounds like now's a good time for you to overcome the hurdles you just shared. That's exciting. Before we get into the specifics about how to get those clients coming into your business more consistently, you mind if I ask if, in this case, I'm just going to stop role play for a second. In this case, I'm going to assume that I've had a conversation with Lucy and I know she's married. Mind if I ask if your husband is on board with you taking some steps forward right now? Obviously, it's important that everyone is on the same page. Is that the case for you? The goal here is to get Lucy to tell me that she's got a spouse objection, to say, no, my husband needs to weigh in on everything that I buy, in which case I need to handle that objection. We'll look at that in just a second. Or I want her to say, yeah, I've got decision-making power here. So let's role play. Lucy, for you?
No, actually, my husband's super supportive. He just wants me to see me succeed. He knows how passionate I am about building my business.
And so in this case, there's no objection. So we've covered money, we've covered time, and we've covered spouse. If there is an objection, this can be a challenging one to handle. Here's how to do it. Step 8B is to, again, be transparent about the spouse objection. Lucy, I totally get it. If your husband needs to get on board with your plans to really build your business and get those clients coming in consistently, maybe it makes more sense for us to do this with him on the call. Why don't we do this? I'm just pulling up my calendar right now. When do you think would be a better time for us to explore things with your husband present? And in this case, I'm prompting to rebook with the spouse or business partner present, or for Lucy to hear this and say, oh, no, actually, I can just make a decision. Let's talk. And then I'll just tell my spouse after I make the decision. One of those two outcomes. And so now we've overcome that spousal objection. Exciting. Hopefully you guys are excited about this. Again, if this is helpful, just drop helpful in the comment section. Give this a like or a love. And if you know someone who would like help overcoming objections and using these scripts, go ahead and tag that person in the comments below. We're going to move on to summarizing everything we've heard at this point. This is step number 9. At this point, we want to again summarize all the struggles. We want to summarize everything they've tried to fix the problem. And we want to summarize their financial, time, and spousal commitments. So this is why you're going to be summarizing a lot of information here. So this is why taking notes could be really helpful. Let's do the little role play. So I would say, okay, Lucy, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. So what I heard was you started your business, your coaching business, about a year ago online, and there have been some good months. There have been some not so good months. It's really this up and down, the roller coaster of sales that's got you stressed out. And you've tried a lot. You've invested a ton of time in making content and trying to get leads through Facebook and even Instagram. And you even invested some money into Facebook ads and realized you just weren't sure what you should be doing. And so that didn't actually pan out the way that you had hoped. And you've really been feeling stuck. But what I heard from you is that this is actually a great time for you. You're really excited to make a change now, and you're ready to make an investment. You're taking your business seriously. It was actually cool when I heard you talk about how your husband's on board and how he really supports you in the initiative as well. So you're ready to make some changes. Luce, did I summarize that correctly? Did I hear you?
Yeah, that's right. I'm really excited to make some changes.
Again, at this point, Luce, how are you feeling? Even in this role play, how do you feel at this point?
I feel so understood. I think you summarize probably that my whole experience better than I fully understood when I first came
Mhm.
into this role play.
Mhm. And for you watching, everyone who's watching this, when you do this second summary, that's exactly how your lead's going to feel. Authentic, they're going to feel heard, they're going to feel understood, they're going to feel safe, they're going to feel trusting of you. Our goal here is to get them to agree, and then we can move on to the next step. One little note that I want to mention here is when you say, "Did I understand you correctly?" And I said a variation of that to Lucy, one of two things is going to happen. Either your lead is going to say, "Yeah, that's exactly how I feel," which is what Lucy did in my case, or they might say, "Well, yeah, that's true, but," and then they're going to add more information, which is also good because then you can jot down that extra information, add those notes, and we're going to show you how to use that in just a minute. So either way is good. Then they're going to agree, okay, now I feel understood. Let's move on. Step number 10, very important step, is to learn their expectations. So, okay, Lucy, you told me that you want to get clients for your online business more consistently, but tell me more. Thinking 6 months, let's say, into the future, what specifically would you like to see change? Again, here, Lucy's the star of the show. I'm going to talk as little as possible. And I'm aiming for, this is important, aiming for at least 3 specific ways that either their life or their business is going to be better. You need 3. You're going to see why these 3 are very important in just a minute. We need 3 things. So, Lucy, let's do the role play. What specifically would you like to see change?
Well, I like to quit my job. I work somewhere else, 9 to 5, as I mentioned. I just don't want to do it anymore. I also like to make more money. So it'd be great to be able to more quickly pay for our mortgage and just work less hours, like fewer hours during the week.
Okay, so Lucy mentioned 3, but I'm not satisfied yet. I'm going to use these follow-up questions, and I do suggest that you dig more. So here's an example. What numbers would you like to hit? Lucy, you said you like to make more money. Tell me about that. Do you have a specific financial goal?
Like $10,000 a month to start would be great.
Okay, so now I've got a specific. We're going to use that in a minute. And then Lucy also told me that she'd like to work fewer hours. So I might come back and say, okay, got it. So 10,000 a month to start. I get you. You also mentioned you'd like to work fewer hours. Did you have a certain number of hours in mind?
It's not that I don't want to work at all. I think maybe 30 hours a week would be really great. That way I can still have some time to spend with my daughter and my husband, just more family time.
So you can use any of these follow-up questions to pull out those 3 things that your lead is envisioning for themselves down the road. What numbers would you like to hit? What do you see yourself doing then? What else would be different for you? Again, going back to their feelings, this is a powerful one. And if Lucy and I were actually on a sales call, I would be going through these questions right now. What would that feel like? What other areas of your life would be affected? And then why is that important? And so we're getting Lucy to set her expectations of where her business is going to be or where her life is going to be, all in her words. She's the star of the show. Let's move on to step number 11. Step number 11 is to uncover Lucy's obstacles. Lucy, those are great goals. Thanks for sharing. I'm curious, if you decide to really go for it, to really go after your business, what do you think could hold you back from reaching those goals you just described?
Mm.
They must be able to admit that they don't have what it takes to reach those goals. They must be able to admit that. They can't say things like, well, it's just me. I just need to try harder. If that's their whole reason why they can't reach their goals, there's nothing I can do to solve that. They need to admit that they need help. So you might need to help them by asking them, well, what else would be challenging? Let's do this as a role play here. Lucy, what do you think could hold you back from reaching those goals you just described?
Well, I just don't know what I should be doing. Should I be running Facebook ads still? Do I need to post every day? Is there a better way? I know this takes a lot of time and I'm not afraid to work, but I'm just not sure what I should be doing next.
Mhm. So in this case, Lucy admitted it. She says, I don't know what to do, which is exactly what you're looking for your leads to say, admitting that they need an expert to give them help. If she'd come back and said, honestly, I just need to prioritize the business. That's what's really holding me back. I would hear her and say, okay, I get it. The business needs to become a priority. What else would be challenging? And I'll continue to ask this question until she admits she can't do it on her own. We know she can't do it on her own. She's told us that already. We just need her to reiterate it so that she knows I actually need help. Let's go on to step number 12. Again, if you have any questions about any of these steps, just let us know the step you have a question about, drop it in there and we'll answer all your questions. Step 12 is to summarize again what you heard. You're going to summarize everything. I'm not going to go through the role play of these first sections because we've already done that, but you would go through and re-summarize it, just solidifying this picture in your lead's mind of where you're taking them. Here's the expectation. So I'm going to role play this with Lucy. Lucy, after the financial time and spousal commitments. So Lucy, I heard that your husband's really on board, really supportive. That's awesome. And it was so neat hearing about where you're taking your business. I heard that you want to make more money. You said specifically $10,000 in the beginning. I also heard you say that you want to be able to quit your job. It doesn't sound like you're really feeling fulfilled from your current work. And then it was cool to hear you say you want to reduce your hours, maybe 30 hours on a weekly basis, so that you can invest more time and energy back into your family.
Mm-hmm.
Then any outstanding obstacles. So I'd continue this role play and say, and Lucy, those goals are awesome. When you're sharing what might hold you back from reaching those goals, it just sounds like you need a plan. You're not sure what the next steps are. Did I hear you correctly?
That's right. I need a plan.
And it's going to be as simple as that. Your lead is going to be so excited because you've built this rapport with them and you've heard them so well. They must agree that you've heard them at this step. Otherwise, you need to keep on listening, say back to them what they told you, and then ask them again. Did I hear you correctly? Yes. Okay, now we can move on. Let's take a look at step 13. This is a very important step, and this came directly from something that we learned from Facebook when it comes to being authentic. I guarantee probably nobody watching this, no matter how experienced you are on sales calls, is doing what we're about to show you right here. It's to provide realistic results. You remember I showed you that Facebook ad where it said you're going to get 50 to 100 new sales every single day? That's probably setting the bar pretty high for most business owners. So that becomes unrealistic, inauthentic. We want to do the opposite. We want to set the bar exactly where it should be by being ultra authentic, providing realistic expectations. So here's how this works. Lucy, just listening to your story, I couldn't help but think about one of the clients I've worked with in the past. Her name's Angela, who went through almost the exact same transformation that you're looking to make with your business. Let me just show you here. And at this point, I'm just going to break out a role play for a second. I would actually share my screen with Lucy, and this is exactly what I would do. I would go over to, in this case, I'm going to use Angela as an example. I'd say, Angela, very similar to you, Lucy. She's a mom. She was starting her business, starting her online coaching business. She had those same ups and downs that you were talking about. She'd have one good month and then followed by a couple months where sales were slow. And she was really just looking for consistency. One of the things that she talked about was she just wanted more time with her family, very similar to what you said. And it's really neat because I'll show you the result. Angela actually just posted this recently inside of our client Facebook group. Notice she says, "Thank you for helping me continuously grow. I just had a $28,000 week." And Lucy, the reason why I show you this is because Angela was in the same spot as you and she took the right steps. And this is where she's grown to. So I just wanted to show you that because I thought that'd be really relevant for where your business is at right now. So just stop role play for a second. Let's go back over the slides. This is a very important step here. Let me go to present. Our goal is to instill confidence that you have the exact solution this lead needs. A little tip for you is to do exactly what I just did. So come prepared with a client testimonial that you can show using their Facebook posts, providing specific examples. Notice that I didn't just say, "Hey, you made me think of Angela because she's making a lot of money in her business now." No, I shared some specifics. Angela has a family. She was just starting out. She had highs and lows. She was aiming for the same thing as you. All these things that hopefully makes Lucy feel, wow, Dave gets me and he's helped people like me. Now, you might ask the question, okay, Dave, yeah, you had this all prepared. How am I supposed to do this on the fly? Here's what we recommend is to have 3 examples of client testimonials pulled up. And so it's so easy. I just had one screenshot of something that Angela told us, as well as her Facebook profile, have 3 pulled up. And as you're going through this call, there's going to be similarities between your lead and at least one of those examples. And then when you get to this section, you just pull up the example of your testimonial that most fits with the lead who you're speaking to. Lucy, I'd like to pull you in here. In this role play, how did you feel when you saw and heard about Angela's story?
Gosh, I felt like, oh my gosh, that seemed like something that's impossible to reach. But if she did it, then maybe I could at least make $10,000.
Exactly, Lucy, exactly what you just said. If she did it, I'll at least be able to reach my goals. And this is what we're looking for, is a realistic result. Not promising the moon, we just want to instill confidence. Hopefully this was helpful and you can see how this all ties back to Facebook and the marketing you're doing on Facebook. Again, if this is helpful, just say helpful in the comment section. Please tag someone who'd be able to benefit from this. Again, we just want to get this into as many hands as possible. Let's look at step number 14, which is recheck the timing. Lucy, there's a clear path to get you to having those more consistent clients coming in on a monthly basis, very similar to the path that I took with Angela that we just looked at. In terms of timing, I just want to make sure, is this something that you're looking to do now, or would you like to revisit this down the road? My goal here is I need Lucy again to agree. Now is the time. So, Lucy, is this something you'd like to do now, or would you like to revisit this down the road?
No, I'd like to actually take a look at this right now. It's really exciting to see the possibility of what my business could look like. I can't imagine right now making 28,000 in a week.
Mhm. Luce, putting yourselves in the shoes of the actual prospect here, is there any chance after everything that we've been through, especially after seeing that client testimonial on Facebook, is there any chance you'd say, no, let's talk about this a couple months down the road?
No, I feel like I've already invested a lot in sharing my story, and you've said that you've helped other people before. At least I would have my curiosity piqued. Right now, I
Yep.
want a conclusion to this conversation because I've just divulged so much information to you. And I also want to mention, Dave, the fact that you brought up Angela, she was a real person on Facebook. I see testimonies all the time of people posting, this person made this much money, that person made that much money. But because you said her name, talked about her family, maybe you'll tell me where she lives, or, she seems like a real person, and I'm a real person. So
hmm
that really resonated with me.
hmm Awesome. And that's why exactly why that step is built in. So at this point, Lucy says, yes, now is the time. Let's move on to step number 15. We're getting close to the finale. There's 20 steps in this process. Step 15 is to gain permission to make an offer. Okay, Lucy, that's awesome. Well, you want me to walk you through the steps that'll get you to that point where you've got consistent clients coming into your business?
Yes, please. I'd like to see what this looks like.
And that's what you're going to hear when you do this, when you practice this, is enthusiasm from the person on the other end. They're raring to go at this point. They must agree in order for you to make any kind of offer. Let's move on to step 16. Step 16 is to explain 3 personalized steps. We're going back to Facebook. What Facebook told us is to be valuable to the lead, to the prospect, and also to be very authentic. So we want this to connect with your lead personally. So here's the script. In this case, you can put in the name of your product or service. I'm just going to say that I'm offering business coaching. So I'd say, okay, Lucy, well, if we were to do business coaching together, I really think this would be perfect for you. In fact, it has 3 key components that I'd really like to work on with you so that you're getting consistent clients coming into your business. And then there's going to be 3 components here. I'm going to flip to the next slide. I've left this as a template, but I've actually filled one in as an example for you. This is what I would say in the case of Lucy, and this is where your notes are going to be so important. Here's the role play. So I said, Lucy, there's actually going to be 3 components that are going to help you get your clients more consistently. So the first component is we're going to optimize your content. And the goal there is really so that you can be posting less, but generating more leads. I know you've been spending a lot of time posting content. We want to reduce that and actually get more leads. Second component is to fill your pipeline. We want you consistently booking calls, not just a lot one month and few the next, consistently booking calls and filling up your webinars. I know you mentioned that you would have liked to have some more people on your last webinar. We want those people to be qualified leads. That's the second component. The third component is to convert organically. I know you said you invested some money in Facebook ads and that didn't pan out. We want to create a system for you so that you're converting these leads into sales without spending a dime on Facebook ads. Lucy, what questions do you have for me? Now, before Lucy answers, very important. If you don't listen to anything else in this training, here's the thing that I'd like you to listen to. You got to be short and sweet. This pitch should take less than 1 minute. Facebook told us this, that being brief is super important. People don't want to hear you sell more. They don't want to hear you talk. They want to talk. This is all you need. 1-minute pitch. Lucy, what questions do you have for me?
Well, I know a lot of people use Facebook groups. I don't have one yet. Is that something I need? What about content? You said I don't need to post more, but how often do I post? Do you recommend every day?
Those are the types of questions that are going to start coming in. And at this point, for sure, your prospect is going to have questions. And this is where we move on to step number 17 is simply answer their questions. Honestly, you just want to be honest. And we want to ideally use the affirmative here. So yes, building up a series of yeses. So let's do an example here. So Lucy said, I don't have a Facebook group yet. Is that something that I need? My answer in this role play would be, yeah, Facebook groups can be really helpful. We're going to take a look if now is the right time for you to be building a Facebook group. And if so, I'm going to walk you through the exact steps you need. That's the answer using yes. Next question, Lucy asked, what was the second question, Luce?
What about content? You said I don't need to post more, but how often do I post? Every other day?
It doesn't make sense for me to get into a discussion about how often Lucy should be posting because we're not even working together. I don't have that answer. It's impossible to give her a specific answer, but I want her to know that we're on the same team. So my answer is, yeah, Lucy, when we get started, we're going to take a look at your content. We're going to figure out the exact cadence that's going to work best for your business. And again, the goal is we want to be posting less than you are now, as long as that's getting more leads and more sales for your business. So notice how I'm reassuring Lucy. We together are going to figure this out. I don't get into the nitty gritty. I just assure her that we're going to do this together. The goal here is to answer all their questions until they say, I have no more questions. Here are some examples here. I'll leave these in the slides. If you're an ad agency, a fitness coach, a business coach, these are the types of things that you might want to say. I'll just use the example of a fitness coach. Someone, you might have been talking about exercise up until this point, and they say, well, are you going to give me a meal plan too? You don't know this client yet. You don't know what they need, but you want to make sure that they know you're on their team. Yeah, we're going to be looking at your nutrition as well, Lucy. So you can see how that works. Yes, and then be honest, be authentic. I'm going to give you a little tip here, and that's to use uncomfortable pauses, exhausting every question that could come up. So if Lucy asked 2 questions, it's tempting for me to just dive into the pitch and make the pitch. Here's why you don't want to do that. If I was to do that and I make Lucy an offer and she really had other questions she was wondering about, guess what she's going to do? She's going to start asking me questions, moving away from making a purchase. I don't want that to happen. Instead, I want to address all of her questions. So I might say, Luce, is there anything else you were wondering about right now?
Like how often would we meet?
And then I answer that question. And then I say, is there anything else you're curious about? And we keep on going back and forth like this, leaving awkward pauses if necessary until Lucy says, no, like it's really clear. When she says no more questions, we're going to move on to step number 18. We want to confirm one more time that they have a need. Lucy, now that we covered everything that's going to be included in the program, does this sound like what you're looking for right now in order to be getting more consistent clients coming into your business? Lucy, at this point, she's going to want to hear what this offer actually looks like. We haven't talked about price yet. She's going to want to know price. For sure, she's going to say yes. They must agree with it, that they must agree that they need this right now before we move on. Luce, at this point, you didn't ask about price. How do you think you're feeling? Like, are you wondering about price or do you not care about price?
Oh, I'm dying to know about the price. How much is this going to cost me? But I don't quite want to say it.
And that's like, I love that you said that. Everyone, when you apply this sales script, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either during this question period, price is going to come up, in which case you can use the script we're going to give you in a second, or you're going to have leads like Lucy. Everyone's aware that there's a price. Some people just feel strange asking about it, in which case, here's our next step. We're going to address that price. Great, Luce. I'm glad we're on the same page. The next step is to register you for the business coaching program, and we can do that right on this call. And then what we're going to do is actually, we're going to pull up our calendars, and tomorrow we can actually book our first coaching call. Does that sound good to you? Notice here, it says insert next exciting step that they can expect. This is very important. We want to start building some momentum. So Lucy, she's about to make a purchase, and that purchase is going to get her access to this thing that she really wants. What does she want? Well, she wants to get on a call. She wants to have this coaching call so we can start working through all these things that we've just talked about. At this point, I really want Lucy to ask about the price. So when she sees the word or hears the word register, she's going to realize, oh, there's a purchase being made here, and she's going to ask about price. Now, if they still haven't asked about price, you can prompt them further by saying something like this. Well, what type of credit card would you like to use to register? And then when Lucy hears the word credit card, for sure she understands. And now she's going to ask about price. So let's role play this, Lucy. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Tomorrow might work.
Okay, so notice Lucy didn't ask about price. So I'd say, okay, awesome. Well, like I said, we can register you right now. What type of credit card would you like to use?
Oh, well, what's the cost?
Bingo. And it's impossible for the person to move forward without asking about the price. She's just asked about the price. And now we move on to the final step, step 20. Here we go. Step 20 is to close the sale. Lucy just asked about the price. And I say, yeah, for the entire business coaching program, everything that we've talked about to get you consistent clients coming into your business, it's just $12,500. Now, I want to complete the transaction here. That's the goal, is to actually take payment on this call. This is a very important tip. At this point, when you drop your price, stop selling. You don't need to justify the price. You don't need to sell. You don't need to talk about any more features. You don't need to talk about anything they're going to be getting. All the hard work's been done. Just tell the price and stop. State the price, give the lead time to say yes. So Luce, at this point, I say, it includes everything we just talked about. It's $12,500.
That's a bit more than I was expecting. Is there a way we can break that down to smaller payments?
Now, I'm going to stop here because Lucy said that's more than I was expecting. And there's a tendency when people are selling to then get into sales mode and to jump in and say, well, it's actually not that much. It's such a great deal. You're getting this, you're getting this. Instead, just be silent. And you notice what Lucy came up with, a solution on her own. She said, is there any way we could break that down into payments? And now if you've got an installment plan, now's a great time to offer up that installment plan at Lucy's request and then close the sale. Luce, I'm going to just stop here momentarily. I know that was a lot. Let me just stop sharing my screen for a second. We're going to give everyone access to this sales script in a second, but I want to see, are there any questions coming up? Because we just covered a lot of strategy.
Yes, that was a lot that we just covered. I hope it was super helpful to everyone. And while you just think of new questions, if everyone could just drop a like, drop a heart, write helpful, just let us know that this has been helpful for you. That would be super awesome for us. There were a few questions that came in. And as Dave mentioned, we are going to be sharing this entire script with you, but we do want to address some of the questions. The first question that came in was with the first initial steps. There were a couple questions that came in. What if we, can we use the script from Messenger essentially? So some people do sales calls, some others don't. Some people just sell in Messenger first and then lead to sales call. So can we use the script for a Messenger conversation?
Yeah, good question. And as you saw this unfold, you realize this is definitely a conversation to be had. So this could be done on the phone. It could be done on Zoom. It could be done in person even. But yeah, it's definitely a sales script, which is why it works for selling high ticket offers. We did actually test this for offers as inexpensive as $200 and it did work, but it is a fair bit of work to go through to sell something that's only $200. So it's really great for those more high ticket offers.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Okay, as another question that came up, but what should I do if leads say, I need to think about it?
Yeah, great question. And this actually goes hand in hand. One of the questions, and maybe it did come up, where leads might say after you pitch the offer, they say, well, it's too expensive. And this is even though we already addressed price, we already addressed time, we already addressed spousal objections, but they say, oh, it's way too expensive. This
Mm-hmm.
is actually something that we solve in our pre-sales process. And I can address that in just a second. Before we get into that, because that is a little bit separate from the actual script, Lou, should we give people access to the download script and then we continue answering some of these questions?
What does everyone think? Just drop download if you're ready for the download script.
Yeah, if you want the download script, just type in download and we can share that script with you. And then we can talk a little bit about, that was a great question about people who say, well, I need to think about it or say it's too expensive. There's actually a way that we can address that. And it's part of our pre-sales process. We can talk about that in just a second. Luce, do people want to download this?
People do want to download the script.
All right, well, let me give this to you here. So
They're
you can see on
ready.
your screen right now, it says unipro.com/script, unipro.com/script. Luz, maybe you can drop that into the chat as well. And then I'll put that in the description of this video. I'll put that in after the fact. But if you go over to unipro.com/script, You're going to have the opportunity to download the entire script. You're going to get literally every single step, all the notes, everything that was just presented to you guys. You're going to have access to all that. Keep it, tweak it, make it your own. Luce, were you able to drop that in the chat?
Yes, just dropping in that chat right now. Here we go. And folks should be able to see that.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, what we're going to do right now is we're going to address 2 more questions, and then Lucy and I, we will go back. Actually, we can address maybe a couple others, Lucy, if there are a couple important ones that came up. First one is, what do I do if a lead says, I need to think about it? And you've already done the money, you've handled the time, you've handled the spouse objections, but they still say, I need to think about it. In this case, there is some stuff that we can do pre-sales. We'll talk about that in a minute, but what can you do in terms of scripting? Well, we want to do what Facebook told us to do, and that's to be authentic. So I'm going to be authentically interested. In this case, I would come back to Lucy and say, yeah, sure, Luce, what are you wondering about at this point? Notice how I said that. The intonation is really important. It sounded like, hopefully, a very genuine question. I authentically want to know, what is she wondering about? It's not accusational. What are you wondering about? Notice the difference in tone. So, Luce, totally. I'm just curious, like, what are you wondering about at this point? What my goal here is to get Lucy to share specific concerns. Because for her to say, I just need to think about it, that's not helpful to either one of us. What are you wondering about might pull out, maybe there's something about price. Maybe it's about time. Maybe she has another question about the program. Now I can isolate exactly what she's wondering about, and we can address that on the call and then move forward to either making a decision to make a purchase or not. So we need to be authentically interested. The second question that we wanted to address was, what happens when you drop your price? And Lucy started out by saying this. She said, oh, that's more than I expected. Now, fortunately, in the role play, she talked about how maybe we can break this into installment plans, or we could break that up a little bit. And so that worked out very well. But what if she comes back and she says, whoa, that was way more than I expected, and she was shocked at the price? This is something that needs to be addressed before the sales call. And I've used the term a pre-sales process. There's a process that we take leads through before we even get onto this call. This is a whole another conversation. If that's something that you guys would like us to walk you through, just type pre-sales in the comment section. I don't know if enough people are interested in this. If you guys want to see the entire pre-sales process that we'd recommend, just type in pre-sales, and Lucy and I can come back. We can share that with you as well. Pre-sales. If no one's interested in the pre-sales process, then we'll just stick to the sales script. Luce, do you want to do 1 or 2 more questions here? Was there anything else that came in?
Yes, another question came in. I thought it was quite a good one. Was, what if I don't actually have a lot of testimonials to be able to share? And this is in one of the steps where we're actually sharing about Angela or someone who has similar results than me. What if we don't have a lot of results to be able to share? I'm just starting off my business.
Yeah, so I gave the suggestion to have 3 testimonials ready to go, but you only need 1. And so I'll give you an example. Let's just say that I was a business coach and I'd only helped 1 person before. And let's say that person was a single man with no kids. So seemingly completely unrelatable to Lucy. I just need to think about at least 1 relation point so that I can explain why I would share that person's story. So I might say, well, this person, let's say his name is Derek. Derek just started his business as well, similar to you, Lucy, how you just started this year. And here's what happened with him. And so once I have 1 connection point, then it's logical as to why I would share that story and why Lucy should be inspired by the story. So you can get away with 1 testimonial. If you don't even have 1 testimonial, it could be your own story. And then same thing, you would share 1 piece from your own story, how you had a similar obstacle, you overcame that obstacle, and now you're in a much better position. Ideally, come with 3. If you only have 3, or if you don't have 3, come with 1. If you don't have 1, come with your own.
That's a great answer. And Dave, I know we have a couple of other questions here. I think Cole asked, would this take place of a triage call and a strategy session when you have 2 calls? But I think we addressed that in terms of what the pre-sales call or pre-sales process would look like. Is that right?
Yeah, and that is a question. Are you going to do a 2-step close or a 1-step close? So for anyone who's not familiar, some people will do a 2-step close where they do a quick little triage call. So maybe a 10 to 15 minute call just to get to know the lead and qualify the lead. And then they'll move that lead onto a full sales call. This script is for a full sales call. Some people will go straight into the full sales call. If you're doing straight into a full sales call, your pre-sales process just needs to be dialed in so that you're vetting your leads and you know those leads are good leads to be getting on full calls with you. You don't want to be getting on hundreds of calls with people who have no actual interest in buying. And so that's where the pre-sales process really comes into play. Again, if you want to see a pre-sales process, just type pre-sales and Lucy and I can put that together to share with you guys, and we can walk you through the steps that we would use as well. So I hope that sales training was super valuable. You can go and download your own copy of that sales script. Go over to unipro.com/script. This really is the most powerful and most effective sales script out there, especially if you're getting leads from Facebook. Now, in full transparency, this is the exact sales script that I would recommend for any online business that's selling high ticket products or services, but I do have a secret weapon that allows me to generate all the leads I could ever need. And that secret weapon is Unipro. If you've never checked out Unipro before, you got to check it out. Go over to unipro.com. Unipro goes out onto Facebook and it finds your ideal targeted leads, brings those leads over into your audience. It starts up conversations, starts nurturing your leads, and helps those leads move towards booking a sales call with you. And then once you book those sales calls, simply follow the sales script that you just learned, and you're going to be closing sales faster than you ever have before and at higher prices than you ever have before. So if you want to book more sales calls, you got to go check out Unipro. Go over to unipro.com. That's what I've got for you in this video. If this gave you any value, if you learned anything from this video, give it a like. And if you have any questions or comments about the sales process that you just learned, go ahead and leave those in the comment section below. I'm happy to help out. And again, if you haven't checked out Unipro and you want to grow your online business even faster, go over to unipro.com. It's been a game changer for my business. I know it's going to be a game changer for you as well. Check it out at unipro.com. Thanks for checking out this video. Can't wait to see you in the next video.